Willie D Live.
How do you not exhibit fear, but still have a certain amount of precaution so that you don't hurt yourself financially?
I think that there's a thing called calculated risk, and calculated risk means that I am courageous enough to trust, even though I know that there's some chance I may get hurt, I may get burned. Like love. Like love can't happen if you don't have trust. If you are so traumatized by your previous relationships and have never healed, you can't really properly love somebody because love requires you to put yourself out there. You have to be vulnerable, right? So you either can go through life and just be an island and just keep up walls and keep everybody away, or you can properly process. See, that's the thing. And my wife is really good at talking. This is the benefit of being married to a therapist because, and I get pissed off because she ends up diagnosing me.
PhD.
Yeah, she diagnoses me, man, because I took this test. It's called the ACEs scale. I think everybody should take this test. ACEs, it stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And it basically measures how traumatized you are. And I took this test. My wife said, well, if your score's above a 3 or a 4, that's pretty bad. I think I was like a 7. I said, oh, God. So a lot of that ability, and what she told me, I remember was, she said that a bad experience is not necessarily trauma. She said trauma is when you have that bad experience, but you could not properly process it. So if you can go back and look at the most horrible shit that ever happened to you and process it properly, maybe with an expert, maybe get a therapist or whatever, then it helps you to kind of heal and just sort of understand it and accept it so you can kind of move forward as a normal person in life. And so doing business with people it's just like forming relationships with people. It's all the same dynamic. If I can't put myself out there knowing that sometimes it ain't going to work out, then I'm not going to be successful. In the black community, man, bad things happen to all of us.
See, man, now you trying to take my job. I'm the gangster love, right? I'm the cleanup man, all of the above. But, man, you just struck a nerve, man, and you really coming into my territory. So I got to bust back on this because otherwise, now you get another title under your belt, relationship guru. So let me try to bring the people back home for a moment. Hate on you a little bit. But no, really, in all seriousness, man, I can't even imagine not desiring love. Like, look, man, I've been in relationships in the past. Some worked, some didn't. I've had my heart broken. I've broken some hearts. But I cannot fathom not desiring a woman and being in love, that feeling. That feeling of being in love. See, and I know it's a sucker out there right now. It's a simp. The true simp are the ones who oftentimes call real men who know how to take their bitter with their sweet and accept accountability. A simp, right? They're the ones that say, he's a simp, he's simping, he's simping. Right. That's all the word. I just thought about something. The reason why a lot of times they say that word because they have limited vocabulary. Yeah, that's it. They ain't got no other words. But yeah, man, I can't imagine like being that traumatized. Well, I don't want to be in love. I don't want to feel loved, or I don't want to feel love.
Well, love is one of the most fundamental needs of a human being. But I think there's some people that train themselves to feel that way. And I think when you talk about that whole simp thing, what's interesting to me is I think that it comes from not having, if you hear a man that uses that term, first of all, it's a man who's probably had his heart broken, right? He's referencing a time where he got traumatized.
But there is such thing as simps, though.
There is a thing. There's a thing, right? Yeah. And I think that conversation can happen, right? But I think that it's definitely problematic if you think that being kind to a woman automatically makes you a simp. Right? And that's the problem, right? Because if she's a sturdy woman and she's really down for you, then you do better by treating her well than by, mistreating her, right? Now what has to happen though is that out of love for yourself, like the first love has to start with you. And if you love yourself, then you don't give that sort of love and treatment to just anybody and everybody. You don't sell yourself cheap. So generally speaking, if you talk about that simp term, maybe it might be a person who does anything for anybody and everybody, even people who don't respect that person back, right? Almost like a male version of a hoe. You know, we talk about a woman. What's the difference between a woman that we call a hoe versus a woman that just has a healthy amount of sexuality? If you really think about it, you know, there's a lot of good women who are not going to be out in the street telling everybody what they can do in the bedroom, but they're just as good as the prostitutes and the porn stars. You know, they got all the skills necessary to please a man in the bedroom, but they're not sharing that with every man. There's a wall to climb. There's a standard to meet. If you meet the standard, then you get access to these things, right? Whereas you have some women who are like, I'm going to go put it on OnlyFans, right? or I'm going to go on Instagram and let every man know what I got going on. And I think that's where we draw that line, right? So I think the same thing might be true with men. I think every man should have a side of himself where with the right woman, you treat her like she's a queen, a goddess. You give her every pedestal that she's earned in your life. There has to be that side of you, but you have to earn that.